Welcome back to Behind the Wire with Chaplain Otto Ministries. I'm your host, Otto, and today we're going to be diving into Lesson 4 of our anger management series. Last week, we explored practical techniques for managing anger, focusing on recognizing anger indicators, identifying triggers, and understanding the psychological responses to anger. We also discussed the importance of identifying and challenging irrational beliefs that can escalate anger. These steps are absolutely crucial for managing emotions to effectively achieve a more balanced life. This week, we'll cover Lesson 4, Defusing Anger by Managing Stress. Our goal today is to identify and reduce stressors to enhance anger management. There are very few certainties that will touch us all in this mortal experience, but one of the absolutes is that we will all experience hardship and stress at some point. Now, who likes stress? Well, who likes hardship? I'm guessing right now you're probably not raising your hand. Stress and hardship, it could be from something we cause on our own, or maybe we could be experiencing stress and hardship from a situation that someone we know is going through or that we know about. And over the last 2 weeks teaching this class in the prison, I've actually had some real life events to be able to use examples of how major events can cause stress and hardship for people, even if they're not directly involved. And that is the ripple effect of hardship and stress that can drown you in the wake of someone else's calamity. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen how hardship and stress will affect people through the negative powers of social media. This negative situation has allowed us to provoke our thought process and challenge how we think and question the why, because we want to be able to use this great force of anger to accomplish good in a positive manner. So, are you ready to get triggered? Let's practice together so that we can move, shoot, and communicate on the battlefield of life. So, does stress play a role in anger escalation? Research has demonstrated that high stress levels, now I am a high stress level type of person, I'm not sure about you, but high stress levels can lead to cause or create angry outbursts and aggression. So what is stress? I really need to understand what stress is and the fundamentals if I want to be able to master it and not be mastered by it consistently. So the fundamentals of stress is, well, let's say the opposite of relaxation. Have you ever felt relaxed before? Just take a moment. Man, being relaxed is really nice, and stress is the absolute opposite of that relaxed feeling. So what is stress? Stress is a medical term for a wide range of strong stimuli, both physiological and psychological, which can cause a physiological response called the general adaptive syndrome. Now, the general adaptive syndrome has 3 stages. The alarm reaction, where the body detects outside threat. The adaptation process, where the body engages defensive countermeasures against the stressor, and exhaustion, where your body just runs out of energy after consistently going through these processes. So looking at the general adaptive syndrome in, a Pictionary sense, just putting a scenario together to understanding the threat on the outside. If you've ever been to a baseball game, whether you're on the field playing or in the stands watching, if you hear that ball crack the bat and they're like, heads up, everybody's going to look and scan and, check to see where's this ball at, because there has been a reaction there. Your body is reacting to the threat and it is going into this general adaptive syndrome. Now notice in this process, you don't have to say like knees bend, arm raise, head scan, because if so, you get hit. Well, if the ball was coming in your direction. But anyways, I hope that this gives a good idea of how your body can react to a situation and interpret it as a possible threat and the countermeasures that you will take. So it is possible to have these type of countermeasures come about in the day-to-day, and it could even be a thought in your head. Now, let's look at some more examples of stress, negative and positive, so that we can understand how we can reinterpret some of these thoughts. Because there are 2 types of stress. And eustress, well, that's your problem. No, I'm kidding. Eustress is a positive stress where distress is more known as negative, but both might be the result of a negative or positive event. So, for example, when I was in the automotive industry, if I came in from my day off and there were keys and folders and stuff just mismanaged, piled all over the place, like that would stress me out because I didn't feel like the process was taking place the right way. And it would just, I felt like I was like prevented from doing something, and I could go 0 to 100 real quick because I saw this and interpreted it as a roadblock. Now, a different type of stress that I really did excel at were trying to hit numbers, goals, certain amounts of cars sold, even if it was the last day of the month. That kind of stress would push me to find a solution. So understanding that there are two different types of stress, negative stress, positive stress, could they possibly cancel each other out? Could I have such a good day that nothing bad matters, or have such a bad day then something good happens and offsets it? Do they cancel each other out? One doesn't cancel out the other. They are both stressful events. And here's actually an example of something that I recently went through. I was preaching at Southeastern Correctional, and we had such an amazing response from the inmates afterwards. Like, that was a good stress. Man, I'm so glad I made it here. I'm so glad they called. Like, thank you, God, for this message and what you put on my heart. Good stress. Yes. Now, right after the service, the chaplain of that prison came up to me and said, "You don't know the Bible. You're unqualified to preach, and I will never have you back here again." So, highs and lows. One does not cancel out the other. Both are stressful events. Changing what you say about yourself and how you view life can greatly impact how you manage stress and anger. You have the opportunity to choose to let this pressure do something. You can either let it form the diamond or crack the nut. You have the opportunity to choose the outcome. And a lot of this will come from your self-talk. Your self-talk originates from your view of life and yourself. If you look at life as grab it all for the gusto you can get, based on the premises of eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, then you will live a more stressful life and experience more anger because you will just be going through everything so fast. And, pain is weakness leaving the body. And sometimes you have to go through some painful events to get to the other side. And just trying to rush through life and only find satisfaction, you're actually going to end up finding more dissatisfaction because you'll never be content. And that's not a way to live. So slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Pain can produce progress. So don't rush through life. Maybe you feel like you need to control stuff. Do you feel like you need to be in control? I know a lot of times I feel like I can need to be in control when I really just need to take a back seat versus the driver's seat. I don't always need to be in control. So how can you deal with the need to control? You have to first consider the consequences. So what are the consequences? You'll end up running out of energy and feel more frustrated when you try to control everything and everyone in your life. You will push away family and friends from you. Nobody likes a controller. Generally, you won't get what you want when you try to control, and in the long run, your inner needs of security and significance will not be met. Another form of stress talk is blaming. You may be blaming others for your anger or disappointments in life, thinking, if they would only meet my needs, I would be happy. Well, the fact is that no one will be able to completely meet your needs, and you have the power to make choices that will help you fulfill your needs. You need to balance your life relationships in order to manage stress. We were made to connect with people, to have healthy, caring, significant relationships with others, and that gives us meaning for living, encouragement, and companionship throughout our lives. Looking at anger, looking at stress, understanding triggers. The same triggers for anger that we have covered over the last few weeks are going to be the same triggers for a stress response. So if you are stressed, you need to make sure that you avoid drinking, using substance, hot self-talk, irrational beliefs, distorted thoughts. Keeping clear of those when stressed can prevent an angry outburst. Because if you have hot self-talk like, nothing ever goes my way, I can't believe that this is happening, who is he to say this, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you have all of these irrational, distorted thoughts and you are perpetuating your anger, working yourself up, which I don't know about you, but for me, it can create an angry outburst. And for the longest time, I thought that using substance or drinking would take the edge off. However, those things will actually make your life more miserable because you're not dealing with the circumstances. And I did find out through this curriculum that substance abuse does increase irritability and it is a trigger for anger. So stay away from drinking, stay away from smoking, stay away from drugs, man. When you're dealing with stress, especially when you're dealing with stress, I'd say stay away from it in general, especially the drug part if you can. But what I said to really speak the language to the guys in prison, because believe it or not, alcohol and drugs are available in there. So, I told these guys, if you're dealing, which they are dealing with a stressful situation, they're in prison. It is not always an easy day there. So I tell them, don't drink hooch, don't smoke tune or chica suboxone, because all of those things are going to have negative consequences. You're going to owe somebody money. You could possibly get caught. If you get caught, man, that is even worse because you're going to go to the hole and have things taken away from you. So if you can get through the circumstance, you can prevent what might come from making a poor choice. And I can tell you that using substance for me is like playing Russian roulette. For me, if I drink, it is equivalent to playing Russian roulette with 6 in the chamber. I know for me, it is a no-go. And for you, it should be the same, especially if you're angry. That is all for this week. Remember, managing stress is the key to diffusing anger. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. If you did enjoy this content, please share it with somebody if you think that it might help. Also, you can join this mission by partnering with us monthly to ensure that this continues online and behind bars, allowing us to reach others. Thank you so much for taking the time to better yourself today, and I'm looking forward to joining you here next week as we continue the journey towards a more balanced and peaceful life. Until then, stay strong, stay calm, and of course, stay blessed.